Hey, good evening, everybody. Tuesday night, 36 degrees here at the home office in Clinton, Missouri. Man, what a day today was. So much information, so much exciting news that's going to be coming out here this evening. We've got so much to go over. I'm going to give just about 1 minute, let everybody be able to get in that wants to watch this live. I will be posting the links. I'll be posting several links in the Facebook group after this video is done. So if you don't catch a link, feel free to jump in the group, and I will be posting them tonight. So I am just going to hang out here just for a couple minutes and let's make sure that everybody is on that wants to get on before we start hitting into all the information. From myself, Gary Lezak, Weather 2020, we got a lot to go over. So I'm just going to give it just a few more seconds. I hope everybody had a great day today. It wasn't that bad. That wind was kind of chilly all day today. We're kind of underneath that northwest flow still, so we had a pretty stout wind, starting to shift out of the southeast right now. So I can tell a big difference. Hi, David. David's in the chat. Snow, snow, snow. Well, that is going to be mentioned here in just a few. We do have several chances, actually, just this next week. Very, very active week coming up. So I'm going to go ahead and get going, guys. And again, if you want to watch this in its entirety here after we get done, feel free to click on the link that I will post in the group. Go back, rewatch the video, but there is a lot of information to take in tonight. So first off, I want to get started here. Been looking at the GFS model here over the last couple months, mainly because that is the global North American model. It seems to have been having a very good time of handling the data as it comes in. I've been using it. I look at all the models, but I've been using that as kind of a good gauge, and it hadn't proved me wrong yet this season. So we're still early. Remember, winter is the toughest part of trying to forecast snowfall because of all the variables that can happen. So let's just shoot right on over here. So we're looking at the GFS map starting on Wednesday. And as we go into the weekend, on Friday night, you will see the big powerhouse trough right here begin to dig. Look at that 540 line. That is the freeze line way up above our head. That's what we look for snow and freezing precip. It dived down all the way down into New Mexico and into the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma. And as we move into, this is actually, let me back up a couple here. So what's going to happen, we're going to have this low pressure system come right up through the four corners. And again, that's kind of our happy zone. We're going to get rain and thunderstorms on Friday night here in West Central Missouri. I am not expecting severe weather. However, down in southern Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, there'd be a potential to see a pretty good outbreak of severe storms down in this area. We're just going to be north of that here in West Central Missouri. However, I am expecting some very beneficial rains, and then as this low begins to eject off to the east, we're going to see snowfall on the back side of this low pressure system. Now, how much that we get on Sunday. I'm sorry, this is going to actually be Saturday afternoon, Saturday night into Sunday morning. It's going to be dependent again on how fast that we can actually get that rainfall to switch over. Notice the 540 line is clear down here into Texas. However, it's skirting west central Missouri right now. A sway just to the east a little bit of this 540 line, and we could be talking more snow. A little bit further to the west, we could be talking less snow. We'll get into the snow totals here in just a bit. I am going to bring up a snowfall map. However, we are far enough away from this system right now, being, 3-4 days away, that I'm not confident in these totals, but it will give us a good gauge of what could happen. Let's go ahead and forward into Sunday. As that low pushes on off to the east, it's going to have some strong thunderstorms, severe thunderstorms, again out down here in the southeast. And then as we go forward, Monday and Tuesday, we're going to get another shot of cold air. Another low pressure system is going to start building out here, coming in from the northwest again. And as that comes across here, we're going to see a large swath of snowfall, potentially again here in west central Missouri. Notice that 540 line, right smack dab in the middle of west central Missouri again. So, it's going to be like this, I'm afraid, all winter long. It's going to be this battle between the warm air and the cold air. As we go forward, there could be a strong band, a very heavy band of snow that sets up right through west central Missouri into northeast Missouri on Wednesday into Thursday. That is the reason why I had mentioned here over last weekend about the TSP from the 11th through the 13th, because we have the two storm systems that have the potential to cause some travel issues here in west central Missouri and in northern Missouri as well. Let's go ahead and fast forward this a little bit. Now, for those of you that might be watching a little bit further south, say from Springfield up through, say, Vernon County, southern St. Clair County, Hickory County, Polk County, that 540 line is close. Like I said before, that sway just 50 miles south, which it very well could and has on a couple of models. It can encompass all of west central Missouri and southwest Missouri in this snow band. And then after that system moves off to the east, we're going into Thursday and Friday the 14th. And then we get to the 15th, and we're going to start to see one of two storms that I feel that is going to affect us for right around Christmas time. So this is Saturday the 16th. This will be a small system that could produce some snow for us here in west central Missouri. We continue to fast forward this, and now we start seeing this low pressure system. Notice all the snowfall from Arizona up through Utah, up through Idaho, Montana. This is the one that I think is going to produce a significant storm during the week of Christmas. It's still far, far away. However, it is definitely something I have been watching, all the data that has been coming through. And you notice this is about as far out as the GFS goes. Line of thunderstorms, very strong. 993 low pressure system. That is very low for this time of year. Look out here in the Atlantic, 992 low. I mean, these systems are powerhouses that are coming in. Then we have the wraparound snow. We have very, very deep trough that's going to bring that colder temperature down, well down south into Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and then eventually make its way closer to Missouri and west central Missouri. So this low pressure system, right now, it is sitting in central Kansas. For this to be the big snow producer, that low pressure system has to fall about 100 miles, 150 miles to the south. That can very easily happen. It can also move to the north by 100 miles. But all indications right now is that this low pressure system, that's about as far north as it's going to go. It could drop a little bit further south. And if that's the case, we could be talking about a very significant snowstorm coming through the week of Christmas. So let's talk a little bit about snowfall totals. And it's not a lot, guys. So I just want to keep, make sure everybody knows I'm not talking about a foot of snow here over the next few systems. I'm talking about just a few inches, but it's still going to create problems out on the roadways. Let's take a look at the GFS snowfall map. And we will go into the storm that will be coming in on Saturday into Sunday. We're looking, the bullseye right now looks to be right around Kansas City proper, just to the west, just to the north of Kansas City proper. Another band of snow setting up on the South Kansas City side, Cass County, Lafayette County, Johnson County. We're going to be looking with the possibility of seeing a couple inches of snow, 2 to 3 inches of snow, and then a little bit further south, all the way down to Springfield, 1.5 inch to 2 inch bands of snow. That is the latest data that the GFS is putting out. Now, this has remained constant for the last 14 model runs. So I'm very confident in that we are going to be getting some snowfall Saturday night into Sunday. Now, Sunday's high is supposed to reach to around 40 degrees. If we get more cloud cover, more snow cover on the ground, snowpack, those temperatures will be lower than that. And that it's going to get cold. It's going to get down to the low 20s. Not quite the teens, I don't think, but probably 20 to 22 degrees on Saturday night and Sunday night. So this will play a small part into whether or not that TSP for Monday will come to fruition. It depends on how the roads are, how the rural roads are, and if very much melting is able to take place on Sunday. That's the reason why the TSP is not sitting at 50% or some huge high number, because these systems are tending to come in on the weekend, which for you teachers is, you don't like to hear that. But as we go forward into Wednesday, Thursday, to that potential of snowfall, we're going to see, let's get back right, Thursday. So now we're sitting there and seeing the bullseye in the same places, almost like our last system that came through. However, I have a sneaking suspicion that this system is going to sink just a little bit further south than what our last little dusting that we got here a week ago. But right now, a rather significant band of snow setting up in eastern Kansas up through Kansas City, Lafayette, Platte County, Smithville. In that area, several inches of snow. Now, obviously, this is model data. It will not tell you what's going to happen. It's going to tell you what might happen. Please keep that in mind. Don't hype this up to be some huge snowstorm. But this is a good indicator that we are going to get some snowfall next week. So, and just further south into west central Missouri, looks like Henry County, Johnson County, Cass County, Bates County, 2 to 4 inches, and then down to the south of that, an inch or two. So going into Friday. Rainfall is also something that I would like to take a look at. Let's take a look at the snowfall. I'm sorry, at the rainfall here. So rainfall looks to be abundant with this storm. This is not in, this is, let's see here, let's go into this weekend, into Saturday, into Sunday, looking about a pretty good average of about a half an inch. Yeah, half inch to an inch, that little darker gray area, and I'll show it here again, that is actually 1 to 2 inch, and then the lighter gray is half inch to an inch. Here back on rainfall, about a good half inch through west central Missouri. This will be through Monday, and then as we go into the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday storm, then we get up to close to 3/4 of an inch to an inch throughout west central Missouri. So there's a lot of moisture to work with. This is also something that's just a little bit concerning, is when you're dealing with the very wet snow, and we have the potential to see some colder temperatures. This is how you set up for one of those surprise snowstorms. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but there is a potential. This is, if there's going to be a surprise snowstorm, these are typically all the characteristics that set up where, you know, I think somebody, it might be northern Missouri, it might be just to the west of us on the Kansas side, but somebody's going to get a pretty significant snow out of this system next week. And we do have a chance here in west central Missouri to see a few inches of snow. So keep that in mind, please, in the back of your head. I don't want to create don't go out and get a bunch of bread and milk and everything else, guys. It's not going to be one of those kind of storms, I don't think. Let's jump back over here kind of to answer her question. So this darker gray that actually goes to about Vernon County over to St. Clair, Benton, Pettis, and points north, that's in the 1 to 2 inch band. The lighter grades are half inch to an inch. So, and again, this is model data. It's not going to actually show you exactly what's going to happen. It's going to show you what might happen. So that is the look at our storm systems that are going to be coming in this weekend and into next weekend. Very, very active period. So I'm going to have to be on my A game starting this weekend. But the good news, the severe weather is going to remain to the south of west central Missouri with the latest data that I have seen so far. So I was really apprehensive that there could be some severe weather here in west central Missouri this weekend, but I think it's going to stay in southern Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and eventually push off to the east. So that kind of wraps up our storm systems. The next thing we're going to get to here now, guys, is going to be Gary Lezak with the LRC winter update, and I will go ahead and play that video now. And again, if you missed part of it, don't forget, I'm going to be posting the link where you can go on and be able to watch this in its entirety. So without further ado, let's listen to Gary and what he has to say about the LRC.
I'm Weather 2020 meteorologist Gary Lezak. Oh my, today is a big day. The unveiling of the winter forecast and the 6-month outlook using and emphasizing the LRC, and our website just launched today. Go to weather2020.com. We'll take you right to that here in just a second. And we were on the world's greatest TV show. as the world's greatest weather innovation, the LRC, and what we're doing for businesses and to save lives. So let me take you through this. And first of all, I want to show you our website. Okay, this is our brand new website. The difference in weather forecasting. If you knew, what would you do? All right, and you can get started if you're a customer. But watch this. I want you, when you pan in, you see me talking about the 3-month forecast. What is a 3-month forecast on an interactive map? Let me show you. Here's the forecast for Denver, Colorado, right now for the month of March. All right, see the calendar? Those are the forecast high temperatures. How about snow? Ooh, it looks like it's going to snow the 6th to the 9th, and maybe the 17th, 18th, 19th, and maybe the 29th here in Denver. How about let's zoom into someplace like Kansas City. Okay, you click on it, and here's your forecast for Kansas City. 60s to start March, and you can see you got your forecast for high temperature, low temperature, snow, and precipitation for anywhere in the world. Let's say you're heading to Baja, California, for example, or all the way down to Cabo San Lucas. You click there. Here's your forecast for Cabo, 70s and 80s in the forecast, and snow, well, no snow in Cabo. Isn't that cool? So anyway, that is our website that I'm sharing with you now, and you can go to that, weather2020.com. Let me know what you think of that. All right, are you ready? It's time to dive into the winter forecast. All right, let's get started from the beginning and go over this real quickly. You can read through it. I spent a lot of time on this. Our entire weather team at Weather 2020 has. So we're still narrowing in on this pattern. Order in chaos. Our winter forecast intelligence report. Unlocking winter secrets with the LRC and more. We're going to look ahead to the next 6 months from January through June. And you can see here, much of the country expected to have above average temperatures, more than that in a second. The winter forecast formula includes the LRC plus El Nino plus the AO and NAO equals accuracy when you tie them all together. The LRC is the centerpiece of this big atmospheric jigsaw. There's also an LRC in the southern hemisphere. There's other ingredients such as the AO, the NAO, and ENSO, and MJO, and other things that are considered into this forecast. We're in early December. We're currently in the second cycle of this year's pattern already. So it looks like it to be a little bit shorter cycle this year. And El Nino, which is the warming of the tropical Pacific Ocean waters. Notice the 6 3-month periods in a row. Look at the temperatures have gone from 0.5 to 1.8. All right, back in 2015-16, there was another stronger El Nino. And that year, a lot of forecasts said California was going to get so much rain. And guess what happened that year in California? It was dry. The same thing seems to be setting up, despite El Nino, another dry El Nino for California, especially Southern California. And we just had 3 La Ninas. So El Nino is a factor. Go read through it. And again, this influences the jet stream as it is already starting to do so. We also talk about the AO and the NAO, the Arctic Oscillation, the North Atlantic Oscillation. When the AO dips deep negative, and we're talking lower than -3, the last few days it was -3. When it gets to about -4 or really -5 or 6, if it does at all during the winter, that's when the Arctic air is more likely to be released and blasts south, and it intensifies the jet stream. If it's positive, which there's been no real indication of that this winter, then it retreats north and stays north, and the Arctic air gets held up in Canada. So those are influences. What is this? An anchor ridge over Southern California? Anchor troughs where storm systems reach their peak strength and are more frequent. Anchor trough looks to be near the East Coast or off the East Coast, and also near and off the West Coast, farther west. And then there's this ridge that has likely formed. I've seen it, I've identified it. This means the majority of storm systems will get blocked without split flow. All right, we're going to talk about split flow in a second. So a few storms may sneak in, but below average rain is expected in Southern California for sure. When the flow does split, that anchor ridge may shift south, be forced south. It won't want to be there, and systems may sneak into California. And then more likely, big, vigorous storms in the eastern part of the country as the southern branch of the jet stream might get amplified with this split flow scenario. So something to be monitoring, and we'll be discussing that. Be sure to read through it. Here is our forecast for the next 6 months. Notice that most of the United States is near to above average, only a couple below average areas. Most 3 to 5 degrees above average this winter, so and through June. So get ready for a warm season, influenced by El Nino, but still governed by the LRC. Precipitation-wise, the Pacific Northwest down to Northern California, this is usually what happens in La Nina, so it's the exact opposite of what's happening with El Nino. And I'm still concerned about California having 50% of average rainfall or less in some areas, and maybe up to 100%. So there could be average rainfall, but most likely below to much below average out there. An area from Wichita, Kansas to Kansas City, all the way to Chicago into the Northeast, because of the acre trough, storm systems will be intensifying as they move off to the east. So this area below average rain in the southeast is somewhat suspect, but near to below average rainfall is our forecast, and the wetter areas from Florida back across South Texas. So there's your forecast. Look through this on the charts. Snowfall wise, Fargo averages 52 inches. We're expecting only 37 inches. Kansas City 18.6 is average. We're expecting near or slightly below average, but still could be closer to average. So a decent amount of snow in Kansas City this year. In Chicago, 15 inches above average. So we'll see if any of those snowstorms develop earlier for the Kansas City area. Very interesting stat. And I know if you've been reading these reports, you've been seeing this. From October 6th to December 5th, when the pattern began, the first 2 months, the first 60 days of this year's cycling pattern, there have been 139 severe weather reports and 38 tornadoes across the United States. Last year, in the exact same 60-day stretch, 786 and 163. All right? This might have been a little bit above average, but this is very below average. Something to pay attention to. Of course, next spring, by January and February, at the end of winter, we'll be making predictions for severe weather season and tropical season. And then our LRC model is out. We're going to reserve the right to wait about another week or 2 or 3, early next year for sure. We're going to dive into your counties and go state by state and get to your counties and tell you what it's going to be week by week. But this is North Dakota and Minnesota, the forecast from our patent-pending LRC model, showing dry from the South Dakota-North Dakota border to Fargo into western Minnesota. This dry region is the forecast for 60 to 80% of average rainfall in snowfall. And then southern Minnesota, at least there's a spot with above average here. This may shift north and west or shrink or expand, so something we'll be watching closely, but there's some concern for some very dry weather in some spots. In most areas, 3 to 4 degrees above average temperatures is what the LRC model is showing. One area of slightly below average, really near average to above average temperatures in most areas. And then this is a week-by-week analysis for the rest of December, below average precipitation, and then the beginning of the year, a couple storms come through, then it's dry for a few weeks, then it's stormy for about 3 weeks in late February and March, then it's dry for a few weeks, and then a few stormy weeks. So the weeks that go above this black line are wet weeks, and the ones below the black line are dry weeks. This is for all of Minnesota and North Dakota. Again, we'll be diving into your counties a little bit later. So the LRC predictions will be increasingly accurate in the next month. In the next week's report, we will be focusing on 1 or 2 states and getting down to county level. This will take a few weeks to get through each state, so be patient with me on that. Of course, we do have benefits, accurate predictions, enhanced reliability, improved decision-making, and monetization opportunities. So pretty fascinating. So there's a quick overview of the winter forecast in this video. Read through it. Let me know if you have any questions. I spent a lot of hours. I'm not going to tell you how many, but let's say more than a dozen on this report. So I hope you enjoy it, and let's stay in touch. Thank you for being premium members. Spread the word. What do you think of our website? We have a lot going on, and we're excited to share more. There's a lot more news coming in the next few weeks and months. So I'm meteorologist Gary Lezak with Weather 2020. Have a great, great day.
All right, guys, that was Gary Lezak. So a lot of information he shared. I kind of want to go over and kind of put things in perspective for our area, for West Central Missouri. Pretty much in line with my personal winter forecast that I shared here over the weekend. But let's take a look at a couple of things here. Let's shoot down. One thing that I found that was very interesting is, and it was similar to what I was seeing as well, is that when you get this split flow, a few stronger storms system shifts south. So obviously putting us in a very favorable position for a couple of big snowstorms. We have not had a big snowstorm for years that I can remember. Our overall snow amount for the year will not be overly impressive, because I feel like we're going to get the majority of our snow in 2, 3, or maybe 4 systems, and then a few light dustings here and there. So that I found very interesting. Let's go. So as far as temperature-wise, right at near average for West Central Missouri. Now I kind of I think I had put that will be slightly above average in temperatures, and Gary and the LRC is showing most of West Central Missouri in near average. So we're not looking for those huge Arctic blasts to come flying down through here in West Central Missouri. As far as precipitation, and again, above average precip right through the heart of Missouri. So that's exciting as well for you snow lovers. And obviously we're going to have a couple of big systems because of that anchor trough that is going to allow that Canadian air 2, 3, maybe 4 times this winter sink way down far south with a large system coming in right over the top of us. So pretty much for West Central Missouri, above average precip, 2, 3, 4 big systems to come through this winter. About average temperatures is what we can expect. And this was going to go through June. So having above average precipitation for the spring is actually going to be good news for the farmers as well. Jacob keeps yelling TSP, TSP. Well, I'm going to get to that here in just a second. So the weather 2020, that was the winter forecast. Now, he mentioned the website. This is what I thought was super cool. Weather2020.com. This is going to be my focus for our spring fundraiser that will be starting at the end of February into March. We are paid members, all of us here at here in Subby's Weather Talk. We're all paid members. You guys done that for us back last spring, and of course it's going to be time to pony up with Weather 2020 and to be able to pinpoint accurate forecasts up to 6 months ahead will be another option that we will be able to do that I feel like that is groundbreaking, that is going to be awesome. So if anybody can get on here and try this out, they put a sneak peek for 1 month in March for anywhere in the world. Now, to get to it, I kind of toyed around. He shot me on an email this website here late last week, so I can kind of take a look at it and, you know, kind of see for myself. But when you get to the homepage of weather2020.com, I use my mouse scroll, and you scroll in, okay? So once you do that, you keep going, and look what happens. Never been to a website like this. You get Gary Lezak talking, and you scroll down, and there is the interactive map. You can go anywhere in the world, in which I'm just going to use Clinton for an example. So there is my 3 months ahead forecast on the left for Clinton. Oop, I scrolled too far down. There's our temperatures for March. 41, 29, 29. Now you can look at snowfall. It's not showing any snowfall for Clinton in the month of March. Precipitation showing actually quite wet for March. What days are going to be wet, what our temperatures is going to be, our high temperatures, our low temperatures. This is awesome information, guys. You know, if you have something planned in, say in April 12th, you're going to be able to go in and go to Weather 2020 and be able to go to that date and know with very reasonable accuracy what the weather is going to be for that day. Just imagine doing that 10 months in advance. Wow, very innovative. So very exciting very exciting information from Gary Lezak and Weather 2020. I also want to tell you guys, if you guys want to go today from 2 to 5, they had a winter weather outlook with my friends from Weather in Focus. They're up in North Dakota. Gary Lezak and a host of a radio station. They take a look at the LRC and the pattern and what the winter forecast is going to look like for several areas. They do a lot of question and answering. Really a neat video to watch. And it's right here just to show you guys. It's wdayradionow.com. I also have that link right down here on the scroll. I've got this address, website address, wdayradionow.com. And then you can click on the winter weather outlook and you can play that video. Very entertaining. A lot of information is shared from both the agriculture side and from the weather side as well. So, you guys, and especially Jacob, he's getting awfully antsy. So you guys heard me talk about the systems that's going to be coming up this weekend and next Wednesday and Thursday. So what we've got for a TSP December 11th through 13th has now gone up to 25%. TSP for Monday, December 18th through 20th, 20%. And that's for all areas. That's from Kansas City to Springfield. Very likely that come Thursday, we'll see this percentage go up to the highest that we've been so far this season. I'll have to wait and see what the data shows here in the next couple days. The white Christmas probability still sitting at 15%. This will slowly be creeping up as we get a little bit closer to Christmas, and that the data supports everything that I'm seeing, and it remains the same. We can see that figure also go up. So TSP, the 11th through the 13th, Monday through Wednesday, 25%. So I hope that makes you happy, Jacob. We've got a TSP for West Central Missouri. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining tonight, I'm going to be posting a link for everybody to be able to click and watch this video in its entirety. I will also be posting the link if you want to go to WDAY Radio and watch the weather special for agriculture and weather and Gary Lezak. And I will also be posting the link to Weather 2020 to get to that interactive map, just to play around with it and see what is available to us as being paid members of Weather 2020. I hope everybody has a great night. I will be updating daily as the data rolls in, going through the models, and seeing what is in store for us for this weekend. Have a great night, everybody. You bet, Freedom Farm. Have a good night.